Our next inductee is Ms. Jean Baughman Wessel. It was on a recommendation from her Aunt Edna McDonald that Ms. Jean Baughman Wessel decided to attend Pearl River in the fall of 1954. Although her acquaintances on campus were limited, she made the most of her time, becoming a Wildcat cheerleader, a columnist for the school newspaper, and an active member of the Future Business Leaders of America. She calls her year at Pearl River a springboard to getting her college degree. She earned that degree at Eastern Michigan University and began a career as an Eastern Airlines stewardess. Wessel was teaching in the company stewardess school in Miami when she and her husband Fred borrowed money to open a Burger King franchise in Huntsville, Alabama in 1966. And as they say, the rest is history. When Fred Wessel died in 1995, she became president and CEO of Westfam Restaurants Incorporated. Today, Westfam operates 27 Burger Kings with more than 1,100 employees across northern Alabama. Westfam was named 2000 Alabama Retailer of the Year and received the 2001 National Burger King Image Excellence Award, the 2008 National Burger King Hispanic Marketing Award, and the 2010 Red Ribbon Award from the Huntsville-Madison County Hospitality Association. Wessel is heavily involved in community and civic organizations, and she is Secretary-Treasurer of the Huntsville Hospital Health Care Authority. She has been honored personally with numerous awards, including National Woman of the Year for the Delta Zeta sorority. Ms. Jean Baughman Wessel's scholarship at Pearl River Community College was established by her children when Westfam Restaurants celebrated its 40th anniversary in 2006. She donated the Malone Chapel chimes in honor of relatives and is a contributor to the Pearl River Community College Museum. In addition to her sons John and James and her daughter Tristan Robin, Wessel's family includes 6 grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Jean Baughman Wessel.
Well, I enrolled in 1954, and I spent 1 year there, 1954 and 1955. So it was a long time ago, but it was just a wonderful year.
That's awesome. What made you come to Pearl River Community College?
Well, my father was involved after World War II, he was in the Navy in World War II, and he became an electrician. Wow. And there was a lot of construction going on after World War II. They're building atomic bomb plants, hydrogen bomb plants, and whatever. So he tended, my father was kind of go where the money is, if you want to know the truth. And so he really didn't think too much of just uprooting us, and off we'd go. So anyway, it's kind of a long story, but I had always wanted to go to college, and that didn't seem to be, I mean, they thought that was nice, but it wasn't a huge priority of my parents. And so every time I would live near a college and think, that's the one I'll go to, off we'd go. So when it came time to enroll, I was living in Ohio, out in the middle of nowhere, and I was like, oh, I have a problem. There's no school around here. And so anyway, my Aunt Edna, I'm from Mississippi originally, it's my home state, and she had gone to East Mississippi, junior college, as we called them in those days, and at Scuba. And for some reason, she didn't recommend I go there, but she said she had heard of Pearl River, and then it was supposed to be a really good school, and that she suggests I look into that.
That's awesome. So what would you say about Pearl River Community College and your experience there helped you with your career path and your future?
Well, what I would say is I was floundering around looking for somewhere to find a stepping stone toward a college education, because we were very modest means and then moving around all the time. And so when I came there, I found at least stability, and I found a very caring and nurturing environment, and really high standards too. I thought very high educational standards. And so I think it was my first step in the educational chain. And we had a lot of fun. There were a lot of interesting people, good faculty, nice campus, good football team. And I was a cheerleader. We had a lot of fun. And so it was a great year. And I just think it was just the perfect place for me.
That's awesome.
And
that's
then
really great.
I didn't come back there because my parents, after leaving Ohio, moved to Ypsilanti, Michigan. And when I went home for the summer, Eastern Michigan University is there. So I could live home and go the other 3 years, which is what I did. So, but if I hadn't, I don't know what I would have done if I had not come to Pearl River. So,
That started you off with everything.
yes.
So what was some good advice you would give to students going to Pearl River Community College now, or thinking about going, or just anything you could tell them?
Well, I think the important thing is, I've always felt, is you need to be a participant. And interesting enough, I've been to a lot of schools, which you'll see, high schools and elementary schools and everything, but the pattern was, at least with me, everywhere that I ended up, I took part because I knew I needed to, because I might be gone by the next year. So, and you may have found that too in your experience. So I think you need to participate, you need to make the most of your opportunities and not, do as well. I tried to do as well as I could. And I think it's just important to have goals. I mean, do you want to be a career person? Do you want to have a business of your own? Do you want to get a 4-year? Do you want to get a master's? Do you want to get a PhD? And find out early on what you like doing.
That's really great. Thank you so much for taking the chance to come down and sit with me.
Well, thank you so much, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, good evening to all of you, and thank you so much. What a tremendous honor to be here amongst all of you and all the honored other recipients. My goodness, I don't think I can draw a picture of a golfer or develop I'm not even sure I can make a whopper at this point, but at any rate, I'm so excited to be here, and I want to thank Dr. Lewis and Mrs. Lewis and Dr. Rearwood and his wife, my children, John, Tristan, and my friends, Jackie Branch and John Shrew, who are here. And Jackie and I, a long time, 60 years ago, were friends, and we have been in touch and kept in touch with each other, and I have not seen her. And I said, "Are you still as gorgeous as ever?" And she said she was, and she is. So thanks to Ernie for being in touch with me and offering this wonderful opportunity. My son James is not here. He has a used fire truck business. He buys, sells, refurbishes used fire trucks. His main customer base are volunteer fire departments. And the big National Fire Chief Convention is in Indianapolis as we speak. So Mom in Pearl River, fire chiefs and fire trucks, well, he wishes he could be here, and he has visited Pearl River. I have to tell you, I guess my story is I always am very thankful to the good Lord to be here and to have given me really a wonderfully interesting life. And it's been a bit of a journey. And today I took a sentimental journey because we drove from Huntsville, Alabama. We went by Laurel, Mississippi, and we went by Meridian, Mississippi, and Ellisville, Mississippi. And I attended schools in all of those cities. I was in Meridian, Mississippi from the 1st through the 6th grade, in Ellisville in the 7th and 8th grade, and I was in Laurel in the 9th grade, and in the 10th grade I was in Araby, Louisiana. And in the 12th grade, I was in Augusta, Georgia for 3 months. And then I was in Knoxville, Tennessee for the rest of my senior year. And I lived about 3 blocks from the University of Tennessee. And that's where I hoped to go to school. My parents were very modest means. My father was involved in construction work. Wherever the job was, that's where we were. It was just that kind of a day. My parents were the first generation off the farm, Kemper County, DeKalb, Mississippi, Preston, Mississippi. That's where I'm from. So at any rate, I'm thinking, great, I can walk down to UT. Now that I live in Alabama, I feel that maybe that probably was God's hand, that I didn't go to UT. But anyway, I'm only kidding. Anyway, I did So my dad comes home. I said, Dad, you know what? I'm going to maybe go to the University of Tennessee. He said, we're moving. And I'm like, where to? Well, we moved to a little place called Waverly, Ohio. It's near Chillicothe. And the only apartment we can find, because remember, everywhere we went, it was big construction projects, was an apartment up over a pool hall. So all night long, bang, 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 bang. And if you could buy a noise machine that had bang, 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 I could probably sleep to it today. So at any rate, we settle in there, and I get a job as a waitress at a local little recreation center. There was no college at Waverly, Ohio. And I was like, where am I going to go? Now, my parents thought college was fine, but no. So in steps my Aunt Edna McDonald, who lives in Preston, Mississippi. Her mother had been a teacher. She was a teacher. And when I was a little girl, she said to me, you're a very smart little girl, and you can do anything you want to do, but you must get an education. I mean, you know, it was like that was my goal in life. So my Aunt Edna called me, and she says, where are you going to college? And I said, well, there's no junior college at Waverly. So she said, you need to come back to Mississippi, to your home state. And she says, I went to East Mississippi at scuba, but I'm not going to recommend that. I hope there's nobody here that went to scuba. I don't know why, but she just didn't recommend that. She says, I have heard of a junior college in Poplarville called Pearl River Junior College, and I hear they're doing really great things, and that's where I think you ought to go. So I applied, and one Friday, my mother and my daddy and my little brother drove me down, and they said, this place looks all right to us, and left me. And I don't know if you remember Miss Webb, any of you all that were of my generation, but that was the dorm I was in, and she was very strict. I don't know if you remember that, but I remember, and I understand that Pat Riley is still around somewhere but Pat was in my class. So he says, why don't we go to a movie? And I'm like, that sounds great. So we were out, and we just signed it out in the little book, and she comes out and says, excuse me. And we said, we're going downtown to the movies. And she said, I'm sorry, it's Friday night, and Pearl River students don't go down there. That's when the riffraff is there. And I'm like, well, how many riffraff people could there be in Poplarville? But they're all downtown, evidently. So anyway, it was a strict place, you all. We could not ride in cars. I don't know if you fellas remember that. Girls couldn't ride in cars. We could go downtown Sundays, church, Wednesday night, church. But you know, we had such a good time. It was a wonderful school. The faculty, superior, accommodations, great football team. And Coach Holden, I think, was there then, but wonderful recruits from all over the East. I mean, everywhere you could think of. South American students. And I was considered an out-of-state student and had adoptive parents. And Hayward and Carolyn Anderson, he was my accounting professor. They were my adopted parents, and they had several of us assigned to them. And I loved the school. I loved being a cheerleader. I wrote for the newspaper. I wrote a column called Fashions and Fads. You all know where that came from. And the future business leaders of America. And I thank you all, Dr. Lewis, and all of you who work. I really Googled East Mississippi because I wanted to kind of learn about scuba before I came here. And the statistic was 70% of the freshman students in Mississippi, my home state, go to community colleges for their first year of school. I think that is wonderfully impressive. Think of the opportunity, the chance. We had no money. My dad sent me $50 a month, and $33.50 of it was my room and board, and $12.50 was my spending money. So, you know, you learn to live on a budget because you have to. But anyway, it was wonderful, and I thank my good Lord, I thank my late husband Fred, who was absolutely the most fabulous man, for giving me 3 wonderful children, 6 grandchildren, and the chance to be here with all of you. And thank you so much to all of you involved with the school for what you're doing and will continue to do. I mean, God has blessed us all in this country. Thank you.